I'm going to talk about a couple of things, and now that I'm home, I worked late tonight trying to get caught up on work at the shop. I've actually been, I typically don't build transmissions historically for about the last 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer. And the reason I don't is because I get distracted. I've got a whole entire shop to run with almost 20 employees, and I get started on transmission and it sits there for 3 days while I get busy and have to run and go get parts or I deal with customers. Happens extremely frequently that a customer drops in, sometimes even after hours, to pick up a transmission, and I end up, spending 2 or 3 hours talking to a customer, and my evening is shot. So I learned a long time ago, if I'm putting the transmissions together, I make mistakes because for one, I don't do it every day anymore, and two, I've got too many distractions. Other builders come ask me, "Hey Jake, what do we do here? Hey, this is on the dyno. Pressure's kind of weird. Come check it out." I'm also developing a lot of new parts, so I spend a lot of time doing that. I actually really enjoy building transmissions. Done a whole bunch of stuff. We specialize in 480s, but we do a lot of turbo 400s. We do a few power glides. I don't really do any 4L60s or 700s anymore. We quit doing 204Rs due to the core part supply years ago. But we started, probably made a lot of my reputation in the beginning on the 204R. And then the 4L80, I kind of knew back in 2001, 2003 time frame that we were, all of us working on the 204R, which included myself, Lonnie Deers at Extreme Automatics, who's a good friend of mine. Vince Janice still builds a lot of them. There were about, 6 or 10 of us that were kind of at the forefront of that. Chris at CK Performance was one of the guys. Used to speak to him a bunch as well. A lot of us were working on them. We were sharing information, and we were advancing that platform. But I knew, back in 01, 02, that the 204 platform was pretty much going to be at its limit. What I felt like about 800 horsepower was a reasonable limit. And I know some guys are advertising them bigger than that, but I still feel like 800 is about the reasonable limit on that platform. So I started working on the 480 because obviously it's a very similar, descendant of the Turbo 400, shares a lot of parts or similar parts. And I knew that, ultimately this is going to be the overdrive transmission, at least for GM crowd. And we obviously can put those behind a lot of other motors, but there's other builders doing fantastic stuff with the 4R100s and the 48REs and that type of thing. And we've built a lot of those over the years, the 48RE, 47RE. I like that unit. I enjoy building them. But I haven't spent a lot of development time on them because there's guys that are doing that, and they're doing a great job. So I try not to walk into that territory unless I really am going to commit some time to it. And the other reason is my dyno is kind of geared for GM stuff. And I can do Chrysler and Ford stuff on it, but it's a considerable amount of trouble to change out the plate and the flex plate and get everything lined up for converter spacing and make it go. So we don't really mess too much with the other units, but we can. I've done Jaguar, all-wheel drive transmissions. I've done Ferrari, Rolls-Royce. I've done a bunch of stuff over the years. But I don't build a whole lot because of my time constraints. So, today I spent most of my time in the CNC, what I call the CAD office, and we were working on the 4L60, kind of cleaning up the drawing to get it ready and making the fixtures, drawing up the fixtures to do this new 4L60 valve body I'm doing. But to answer a few things that seem to come up, especially I'm gonna post this on the 4L80 group. I got accused of being jealous of a builder the other day, and I can't even fathom the thought process of being jealous of a guy that's working out of a small shop. And I'm trying to let me phrase that because I've made other builders mad in the past where I kind of questioned I didn't question their ability. I questioned what they were doing. They're claiming to basically build converters out of a garage, and technically it's possible if you have the right equipment. You can build a converter on a lathe with a lathe and a welder. It's a lot of trouble to do on a single lathe. It's a lot easier to do on multiple lathes, but early on a lot of builders built converters on a lathe. So now we usually have specialized converter building equipment, the fixtures of course, that makes it a lot simpler, quicker, more repeatable, that type of thing. But there's nothing at all wrong with the small-time guy that builds out of his garage on the weekend, has a full-time job, and does it for a little bit extra hot rod money. That's how I started. And so I have absolutely no, like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, no ego that I'm above that guy, because that's where I started. And that guy is my target customer. That's who I, like selling parts to, because we sell a ton of parts, and the guy that's working out of his garage is the guy that is he's going to spend money. He might not spend $10,000 a month like some of our big customers, but if he spends, $1,000 a year, that's still $1,000 a year we didn't make otherwise. So those guys are great, and there's a lot of, I was actually just messaging a guy earlier, and he mentioned, that he's a small-time guy. I'm like, man, I don't have any problem with that. I kind of miss those days. One thing I miss is that you get to deal directly with the customer. When I was a one-man show with one helper, in my small shop when I first started out, when I had a customer, I got to actually know that person. A lot of times I might go to the track and help them with their combo. But I don't get to do that anymore. I knew every customer. I could tell you every customer that was on my billboard back then. And now, we're probably 100 deep on builds, or probably 80 now. We're getting caught up a little more. But I couldn't name all those customers like I could back when I had 6 or 8 on the board. So I do miss those days, because there are certain aspects of that were a good time. The cat making noise back there. But to go on about it, why would I be jealous of a guy that's working in a small garage? I've got almost 20 employees. I've got 5 CNC machines running. I've gone way past that point. And where I was 10 years ago, I had none of that. So, and there's probably nobody else in the industry that was sort of a beginner, small-time player 10 years ago. That's where I am now. There's lots of good companies in the industry that, have big capability. Cohen Engineering, we buy a lot of parts from them. We like their products, good quality. ATI, they've been around forever. Both those companies have been around a long time. And they both have, excellent machining abilities. There's a bunch of those companies. And I'm not jealous of those companies either. They've been around longer. They make product that we use. I've got no reason to be jealous of them. So anybody that for some reason thinks I'm jealous, I'm really not jealous of anybody in the industry. I can't even think of anybody that I'm jealous of. Some of you guys online probably think we all are at each other's throats if we're competitors, and we're not. There's a ton of us who share information, and I might not just give a drawing of a part to another builder, but I may share some information about how it works to them, or help them develop stuff. There's products out there that I sell, but that other people manufacture, that I was heavily involved in the development. Where I told them, hey, you want to watch your lockup circuit. There's things to see here that you may not be familiar with, and I do that because I can't make everything. I can't build every transmission. When I was small time and hungry, maybe I was more apt to be jealous of somebody. But we've got more work than we can do, literally, and it doesn't seem to be any end in sight. So we're staying busy, and we just have no time to even be jealous of somebody that's slinging parts, selling kits. I've never really liked selling kits. I have suspended kits and part sales in the past because it seems a distraction from our primary, job of building transmissions. But it is a revenue source, and my other people in my business that help advise me are like, no, you can't suspend that because it's a pretty big revenue source. But other people can sell kits, and I don't have any issue with that, because the best way for people to learn is to do it, and some guys do not have any idea what they don't know. They don't know what they don't know, and I'm all for letting them learn what it's like to be on the receiving end of the customer that's emailing you 9 million questions, trying to, basically you're rebuilding their transmission step by step over the phone or by email, and some of you have time to do that, but once your business progresses to a level that you don't have that time, you're going to have to learn how to, advise that customer, hey, you need to get a tech manual. Hey, you need to get a rebuild manual. And sometimes you learn, my office staff can tell you, you can tell by an email that somebody sends that they're well beyond their talent level of being able to do whatever the task may be, whether it's install a trans brake or build a transmission or even put a transmission pan on. There's all kinds out there. I promise you, when you start selling parts, you'll learn that there are some people that just do not need to open the hood, but they're going to try anyway. And you just sometimes have to advise them that our best advice is for you to seek professional help. Kind of covers that. I don't know how many care to even listen. Maybe I'll make a video that kind of explains the history of how I got where I'm at. Some of you can see it up there. I have a little bit of heartburn when people post incorrect information. It's one thing. A lot of guys do it. They don't mean any ill will, but they're doing it, and by doing it, they don't realize that they're not doing anybody any favors. If you don't know what you're talking about and you're posting stuff, and somebody that does know what they're talking about corrects you, you really should just let it ride, or say, hey, you're correct, or maybe it's a good learning place for you to sit back and listen and shut up. Where I came from, that's what you did. They didn't tolerate any type of false information. If we were doing clearing an objective, even in training, we're not even talking combat. If we're clearing an objective in training, and we got across the objective, and they called for a sit rep, from each soldier to let them know if you were up or down, wounded or not, what your ammo situation was, what your water situation was. If you gave a false report, even in the heat of a live fire, they would gig you for that. And if you do it too many times, you get kicked out. And when you're in some of these special operations units, and you've done a lot of pretty serious selection process to get there, and you've been there a while, and you've put a lot of effort into being a member there, you don't want to mess that up. So that's kind of why I probably have a little bit of a more serious aspect of incorrect information being put out there, because it does nothing but cost people money, cause them frustration, and it's just if it's incorrect, it's incorrect. So let's try to keep it correct. But that's probably a long enough video for now. We'll cover some other stuff on the next one.